He's the Prime Minister in waiting who promised an end to spin. Well, how's about this for timing? On the eve of his move to number 10, Gordon Brown has tempted a senior Conservative politician to cross the floor of the House and join the Labour Party. Quentin Davies said the Tories under David Cameron had no bedrock. Our political editor Tom Bradby reports on the Tory turncoat.
On the eve of Brown's new Labour dawn, a piece of pure political theatre. Act 1, Scene 1, the defection. Do you know who this man is? No, of course not. But Gordon Brown is pretty keen you find out. Quentin Davies left the Tory party today with a devastating attack on his leader. The party, he said, exists on shifting sands. A sense of mission has been replaced by a PR agenda. He went on to accuse Cameron of superficiality, unreliability and an apparent lack of clear convictions. Punchy stuff, but it's all in the timing.
Did you write any of this?
I wrote every single word of it myself.
Because I put it to you that it's just too much of a coincidence that after all these months when you've been clearly disillusioned, you decide to announce your defection on the very day before Gordon Brown becomes Prime Minister.
Well, first of all, you're suggesting I didn't write it, and I'm telling you now...
I'm asking you whether you didn't write it. I'm suggesting that your new masters may have had something to do with the timing of this.
Well, first of all, let's go to the substance of it. I repeat, every single word of that was written by me. Every single word of that was composed by me.
And the timing?
Well, the timing, as I said, I came to the decision last weekend, finally. I've been mulling over this for quite a long time. You don't take this sort of decision easily, of course not. It's an agonising decision, of course it is.
There's no doubt Quentin Davies' defection damages David Cameron, but Gordon Brown has promised to abolish spin, and questions are bound to be asked about the timing of this announcement.
Tom joins me live now. Tom, we can argue about the timing, but this is pretty damaging for David Cameron, isn't it?
Yes, I think is the simple answer to that. He says he's quite relaxed tonight. He understands as the party changes, one or two people might want to leave. I very much doubt he is relaxed. I think it is damaging and for quite a specific reason. What the polls are telling us is that people like David Cameron, but they're not sure what he stands for, and they're a little bit concerned that he might not stand for anything except what he thinks might get him elected. Now, this letter very specifically, in great length, or at great length, in great detail, goes on the attack on all his weak points. So I think if you read it all, it does turn out to be a pretty devastating attack on him. One can argue about the timing. I think we're almost bound to approach it, frankly, with suspicion, but I don't think that alters the fact that when you look at the content of it, it certainly is not good for him in any way and inevitably gives Gordon Brown a little further momentum.
All right, Tom, thank you. Some of today's other stories now. And on his last day as Prime Minister, Tony Blair has been discussing climate change with California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. At a Downing Street press conference, the pair issued a plea for countries around the world to join the fight against global warming. Standing alongside the former movie star, Mr. Blair borrowed a line from one of his Terminator films.
My press officer said to me, whatever else you do this morning, don't say, "I'll be back." This will be gravely misinterpreted. Nice to see you all.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
You're watching the BBC here in the East Midlands, and Conservative Party officials in Lincolnshire have accused their local MP of treachery and betrayal after his defection to the Labour Party. Yes, Quentin Davies, the MP for Grantham and Stamford, made the announcement this afternoon in a letter to David Cameron. In it, Mr Davies claimed the Conservative Party had ceased to stand for anything. Strong words. Well, our political editor John Hess is in our Leicester newsroom. John, good evening to you. How on earth is this going to go down in Stamford, which is, of course, now Labour Stamford?
Indeed it is. I mean, it's not only Stamford, but Grantham as well. And it's only a couple of months since I interviewed Quentin Davies, who at that stage was campaigning against the threat to the future of the maternity unit at Grantham Hospital. And nobody was more critical of the financial straitjacket, as he told me, that had been imposed on the health service, but the straitjacket that had been imposed by the man who's at the moment in number 11 and tomorrow shifts across to number 10 Downing Street, i.e. Gordon Brown, the next Prime Minister. But as things stand at the moment, Quentin Davies and tomorrow will be sitting on those green benches, those Labour green benches, behind Gordon Brown as the new Prime Minister. And you can guarantee that Tory activists in Lincolnshire will be spitting nails. Martin Hill, who's the leader of the Tories, who said that this is an act of betrayal, also said that this is a huge slap in the face for all those Conservative activists that have campaigned for Quentin Davies, getting on for 20 years. That's how long he's been a Conservative MP for this part of Lincolnshire.
Is it going to be damaging to the Tories? And does David Cameron really care what Quentin Davies thinks?
Well, I think there are two things. I mean, there's no doubt that the Labour Party will make the most of this opportunity, especially Ian Selby. He's the chairman of the Labour Party locally. He's looking forward to welcoming Quentin Davies on Thursday when he's back in his constituency. He was Labour's candidate, you know, only a couple of years ago when Quentin Davies won the seat with a 7,500 majority. It's the issue, though, for the Tories of Europe. Once again, that's been the fault line. That's the reason why Quentin Davies has resigned. Quentin Davies, you'll recall, voted for Ken Clarke to be the Tory leader, and it's on Europe, like Ken Clarke, that there's increasingly a parting of the ways between MPs like Quentin Davies and David Cameron.
Well, I don't expect we've heard the